Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, my ex monkey branched, but I want them back. Really good topic because it comes up a lot, and it's sometimes puzzling to people outside of the breakup, outside of the relationship, looking at the person that just broke up, and they go, "Your ex is with someone else. Why are you chasing him still?" Seems like a simple question, but it comes up a lot. And the reality is, you don't know till you're in that breakup, because a lot of times people think, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, are you at ground zero? Eduardo Martinez, how are you today, my friend? So today we'll get into this. Like I said, it comes up a lot. And I wrote out some questions to actually ask yourself, similar to what we do in a coaching session. The only difference is when you're in a coaching session, you actually have to answer to someone, right? So, Sabina, how you doing, hon? Eduardo, you're in the top 5 for sure, bud. For sure. But we never did a coaching session, so that's a little bit different ball game. So today, like I said, my ex monkey branch, but I want them back. Comes up in stories a lot. One of the stories I'm going to share today that was sent in actually last night is about that topic exactly. And so just like I always say, your stories are always similar, but your perspectives, your interpretations are usually a little bit different. And the idea that you want someone back when they're with someone else, that's a problem. So let's get into it. My ex monkey branch, but I want them back. So the first question, and write this down if this happened to you, if you're listening to this later, if you want to add some things. And I'd add, for those that are on the live stream right now, please feel free to chime in and add some things to this. And if this has ever happened to you, please put in the comments below that you've been monkey branched. This is, to be fair, monkey branch, the term, is not something I don't think has appeared in regular vocabulary for the last 2 or 3 years. It's a new statement. I don't remember it when I was younger. But my ex monkey branched, but I want them back. Number one, why? Why do you want them back? Good question to start with. Number 2, can you live with the fact that even if you do get back together, that they were with someone else? This is one of the biggest questions I have to ask, because to me, if someone was your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, they're with someone else, they've been sleeping with someone else, whether they say they haven't or they have, you're going to assume that. And now you're just going to be okay with that once you get back together? And it was so soon after you? Next question. Do you want to compete? This is a great question to ask yourself. They're with someone else. They're with someone else. And now you want to get their attention and you want to get them back. Do you want to compete with who they're with now after being the one and only? Sounds kind of pathetic to me. But to each their own. What are their real reasons for leaving you? Do you believe them? Number 5, did they change before the breakup? So a lot of times people are in disarray. They monkey branch, they did me wrong, I can't believe it, I didn't see this coming. Really? Because when I break down breakups with people, a lot of times there's a lot of breadcrumbs. And that's why writing your story out really helps. So if everything went right, how would they come back to you? Is that realistic? In most cases, people think, well, it'd be nice if they were banging at my door in the rain, right? Begging for me back. Is that realistic, or is that a movie you saw? Number 7, what's the alternative to no contact? So a lot of times Well, how do I get them back? What do I do? What do I do? Well, go into no contact. I don't want to do that because then I'll never see them again, and I wasted my chance, on and on and on. Well, what's the alternative? To compete with their new partner? To ask them how much they're into their new partner, or whether it's a monkey branch or not, whether it's a rebound or not, they're still with someone else, right? What will you get out of knowing who they're with now? What are you going to get out of that? So this is another thing to the monkey branch game. I want to know who they're with. I want to know why they like them, or who this person is. What are you going to get from that? You're going to compare yourself? What advice would you give your friend if they were in a similar situation? And number 10, do they have a history of leaving other people quickly? What's their relationship morals? Good question to ask. Have they done this to someone else before? Was there a situation where you were the one that they monkey branched with before? And a lot of times they'll go, well, actually, when I think about it, they've only had a gap of 1 to 2 months in between partners in their whole life. Well, you were next. So don't be surprised, right? Sounds cold, but it's just the truth. Jesse, how you doing, bud? Hope you're doing well. Sabina, Eduardo, we're ready to roll here. We got 8 on deck, 2 likes. We got 2 stories on deck. Donations are appreciated. Happy holidays to all. If you guys want to chime in on any of these stories, give your opinion. It is appreciated. Rob, just on time. That's true. I remember fearing the process of no contact. It didn't make sense to me at the time, but on my breakup. Fast forward today, it's clear to me we like logic when clarity isn't so clear. Continuing to contact guarantees pushing them away. In most cases, university pipe, I would say it's true. And in cases of monkey branching, or you've already had the talk about the breakup, you've already revisited things a couple times, right? You got to let the smoke clear. All right, folks, let's get into this real quick. I feel like my mic's in a weird position. It's uncomfortable here. I don't got my lighting right. All right, so let's pull up this story here. This one's a long one. Coach, I like where you come from on breakups. Keep it going. I just broke up with my ex 3 days ago, and I never perceived it would be this tough. Well, welcome to the club. So a lot of times people want to break up. They know it's coming. And then when they break up, they go, oh, shit, this is real. I'm 37 years old, and I've had a couple breakups in my life. One worse than this. One or so, I thought. I don't know what that means. I think it's because it feels like it came out of nowhere. Well, breakups that surprise you are usually tougher to deal with. We were in the zone of not getting along sometimes, but it surely wasn't that bad to just break up. We've been together 3 years and we don't live together, but she stayed at my house 5 days a week until recently. That dropped to 1 to 2 days a week. Well, I would just say that's probably not by chance. There's probably something to that. Doesn't necessarily mean she's cheating on you, but she's losing interest, and something's impeding on the pie chart of your attention. She's 27 and just finished her master's degree and now got a job that she claims takes a bunch of her time. She claims, or it's just true? You know, if someone goes through the trouble to go to grad school and get a master's degree, they're probably a little bit harder worker, and they're really devoted to their field, right? A master's degree takes a lot of extra money and a lot of extra time, so the relationship has taken a big backseat to her job, and I let her know about this. Well, I mean, she's 27, you're 37. So she got a master's degree. Maybe she's just getting into a groove of what she really wanted to do. And for you to think that that's a problem is going to be a major conflict. She said she likes her job more than our relationship. That slipped out of her mouth during breakfast one day, and it pissed me off. Well, whether it pissed you off or not, it sounds like she's telling you the truth. Number 2, it doesn't sound like that bad of a thing. that she has a passion for her job. And if she just started this job, there's going to be an adjustment period that you need to be patient with probably. I have a good job I value, but I wouldn't put it above our relationship. So this is where you say, this is what I would do. Why don't you do what I do? Well, she's not the same person. And if she was the same person, you probably wouldn't be attracted to her. That doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to her. I told her she's got her priorities mixed up. She didn't respond. Okay, so you're just projecting that those are what your priorities would be. And the fact that she doesn't have the same priorities somehow is wrong. That's not actually true. With her current job, they have a lot of weekend events to attend where they have to get a room, which is paid for by our job. These events over the last 3 months appear to have increased. So I decided to do some detective work because I just didn't believe these events were suddenly happening every week. I went to the hotel she said she'd be staying at and walked up to the front desk and asked if she was staying there. The receptionist looked at me crazy and said she couldn't give that info out. Well, I don't blame the receptionist. You coming in and just asking for a name without a room number, so it's a little fishy, dude. So then I asked about the event, and she said it was going on across the street and that the organization my girlfriend worked for was indeed a part of the event. Well, there you go. One check mark there. She was telling the truth. I went across the street and eventually found my girl running an area for the company and giving out info. I guess a booth of some sort. Would that be it? She was doing what she said she was doing. Check mark number 2. You caught her in the act. So I felt stupid and left, but on my way out, one of her coworkers that know me stopped me and asked me how I was doing. I kept it short and just left. Of course, the coworker told my girlfriend, and she contacted me and told her. I told her, yes, I was there, and I just want to check on her, that I was getting insecure about her being unavailable all these weekends. I just wanted to check on her. She laughed and told me we can later talk this week. You know, it's interesting about this. There's some women, not all women. There's some men too that would like the fact that you checked up on them, that you cared that much. There's some other ones that would go, you don't trust me, and push you away. I really like the fact that you were vulnerable in this situation. You actually told the truth. You're like, look, I checked up on you because I was feeling a little insecure, and the fact that you were unavailable during the weekends. That's good communication, actually. And it's not so bad that she took it with a laugh and lighthearted. That week we had dinner, and she let me know that she was done, that I didn't trust her, and that I was way too sensitive to deal with her not being available due to the work. Well, some people might say, well, you shouldn't have said you were going to be unavailable. You shouldn't have said you felt insecure. The reality is, whether you ended up at that event or not, you're going to break up soon. Okay? She was just looking for a way, and you opened the door for it. She went on to say that the relationship hasn't gotten better. It's just been slowing down. She knows her job is taking away from time from us, but she feels like she wants to focus on this job. I then blurted out, well, are you seeing someone else? She laughed it off and said, no. That's usually not a question someone laughs at. I then told her to look me in the eyes and tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else? So right here, this is a definitive moment where you don't trust her word. You didn't trust her word on the weekends. Something's off. If you've been together, I think you said 3 years. Let me double check that. Yeah, if you've been together 3 years. We've been together 3 years. If you've been together 3 years, your intuition's probably correct if you spend a lot of time together that something's not right. Because this isn't jealous rage. This is developed. I then told her to look me in the eyes and tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else? She looked away, then back at me. Then her eyes traveled up, then back at me. And then she told me, I'm not seeing someone else, but I do want to break up. It's interesting that you mentioned the thing about the eyes traveling back and forth and not being direct, because that tells me that something's there. She had to come up with a creative answer rather than just a no. If it was just a no, it would be very clean. She wouldn't have to think about it. She might even laugh a little bit, but the fact that she looked up and down, there's something to that. That was a week ago. That night we actually hooked up after a couple bottles of wine. The next morning we cuddled and played some more. Then she went to work and was short with me over the next couple days. Then 3 days ago, she just texted me that she could still see each other, that we could still see each other, but that she still feels the breakup is right for her right now. So this is about her. She's going to be selfish. Let's take into account that she is, if I'm correct, 27 and you're 37. And this is where age counts. And, you know, sometimes guys that come to me that have a 10-year, 15-year age difference, you know, they repeatedly tell me how young they look, how great the relationship is. But these are how they end usually. Quickly, swiftly, surprisingly. Because a woman that's 27 has a lot of options. And she knows it. She knows it unconsciously. Compared to if she was 38 or 39. Okay? And you're looking on the other end like, it's probably, depending on where you're at, you know, you think it's great. It's fantastic. So she's at an advantage if she goes back on the market. And by the way, anytime someone starts a new job, they start a new identity. And they start looking at things differently. Their priorities do change. And this is a very common time that couples break up. So this isn't just you. So the next morning we cuddled, we played some more. Then she went to work and was short with me over the next couple of days. Then 3 days ago, she just texted me that we could still see each other, but that she still feels that the breakup is right for her right now. I said this already. I texted back that I can't see her without being my girlfriend. She responded with a speedy okay. I understand. See, she's ready. She's ready to break up. She's all in. You're in two different playing fields, and you think, well, I'm not going to just see you without being my girlfriend. Good for you, because that's how you honestly feel. You're being honest about it. Can you accept that? And then you can't see each other. I didn't respond and just turned off my phone for the rest of the day. That's actually a good move. You're emotional. You're upset. You're surprised. Take some time to regroup. Turn off your phone. Come back to it later on. I went about my work, told myself this wasn't really going down. That's called denial. I guess one would call it denial. That's when I decided to drive to her work and wait for her to get off work. See, this is where it gets dicey. I thought it was best to talk to her in person. Then she could see how much she means to me and how much I love her. See, this is about you, not about her. You're not listening to her. She wants to break up right now. The relationship's not important, but you want to make sure that she knows that it's important to you. You're not listening. This is not a salesman job. She came out the doors as expected about 5:30 p.m., was walking with a male colleague. I decided it's now or never, and approached her. She looked at me and asked, "What are you doing here?" I explained that I love her, that we could work this out, and the male colleague stayed looking on and asked her if she wanted him to go. She said, "No, this will be short." Then she looked at me in the eye and told me, "I'm sorry I hurt you, but I just broke up with you twice this week, and now you're showing up at my work. I'm sorry, but I'm not changing my mind." Wow, she did that in front of the colleague? That's harsh. She then walked on with her colleague, and they actually got in her car together. Now, I don't see this guy as a threat, as he's a total nerd, dweeb, dork. You know what I mean? I just can't see her being with him. But that night I asked in the text, and she didn't respond, and she since has blocked me again. I thought she blocked you already, but okay. She still got some stuff at my house, so I contacted her sister. Here we go again. Everyone wants to contact the relative who actually spilled the beans and told me she was seeing someone from her work, and it was best I just move on. Okay, so I never recommend contacting the sister, the brother, the parents, because you're trying to dig some information. But guess what? Looks like you got what you were looking for. Can you handle the truth? As the great Jack Nicholson said, right? Can you handle the truth? Sounds like she has been seeing someone. Okay. This is your cue right now in the movie to walk away with some pride and some dignity and your balls in your hand. Okay. She said she'd be happy to get her stuff. She said, I know my sister and she's not going to come back to you. This is where you got to line up how close are they as sisters? Why is she giving you this information? And on the flip side, do you believe her? But at this point, where there's smoke, there's fire. This hurt me because this is where the breakup got real. So I packed up her stuff, gave it to the sister. Now today she texted me and said she got her stuff and thank you for understanding. I responded that I know she's seeing someone else and to just tell me, was it that guy in the parking lot? She didn't respond and then blocked me again. See, I'm confused. Is she blocking you on and off again? Listen, she's broken up with you. So the more you approach her and ask her questions, she feels like she's told you enough. Whether it's the guy in the parking lot or not, it seems like she's probably seeing someone. The fact that she stopped seeing you 5 days a week to 1 to 2 times a week, there's a strong possibility that she's into or seeing someone else. The fact that she broke up with you so abruptly, there's a strong possibility. Why do you want to know who it is? I responded that I know she's seeing someone else and just tell me if it was the guy in the parking lot. She didn't respond and then blocked me again. Now today I called in sick to work and just cried off and on all day. No problem there. Do your crying in private. It's a human thing to cry. It's a way to release ill feelings. I feel so weak. I just want to call her and talk about this. How could she move on so quickly and without some more meaning? Plus we just hooked up last week and I thought we were good. Well, I can see it says, I'm confused and hurt. I want her back and I want the facts. I think she gave you some facts. Okay, so basically, she doesn't want to be in a serious relationship right now. She wants to put her job first. She's open to the fact of seeing each other, which you're not. She's just not as serious about the relationship. And you find that to not be fair because that's not what you want. You're 37. She's 27. This is where age counts. She's at a stage where she feels like she can maneuver a little bit. You're at a stage where you want to settle down probably. Who is she seeing and why? Question mark. I deserve to know. I deserve a lot of things in my life too. The bottom line is even if you know, it's still going to hurt. It might even hurt worse. So the fact that the sister told you that, you believe the sister, she was walking out with some guy in the parking lot. There's all kinds of things here, right? Bottom line is she's broken up with you. The more you investigate, the more you tap on her shoulder and ask her more questions or show up at her work or show up at an event, you're just going to push her farther and farther away. And eventually she might even get the police involved. And you're going, well, I just want answers. What you really want is pity. And that's unattractive. What you really want is some way to figure out why this happened. And if I had a guess, which I would have a better answer for you if we did a live coaching session for an hour or two. She's 27 years old. She got a new career, a new job that she's excited about. That's taking a lot of her time, which is good for her. She never moved in with you for 3 years. She's at a place in her life where she's not ready to settle down. She actually wants to be more free. And she didn't say it, but a lot of women in this situation go, I just want to see what it's like to be single. And she still got her youth. You're 37 and you're approaching 40 and you're thinking, well, that's not what I want. I love this woman. I want more. I thought we were doing pretty good. You're going down 2 different paths. She likes her path. You're not going to get her off it. What's your advice if I want to get her back? Number 1, stay in no contact. Okay. Stop contacting her. You've done enough. You've showed her you cared. You showed her you want her back. The fact that you've showed up at work, at a work event, unannounced, doesn't hold very great. So don't do it again. You're basically being a junior stalker here. Stay off all her social media, right? There's always a chance. when you've been with someone for 3, 4, or 5 years, that missing you, they might call you back, but it has to be on their own terms. Number two, just because she's seeing someone else right now doesn't mean it's going to work out. And so, in some cases, seeing someone else can push them back to you because that person they're seeing can end up being a real jerk. Or it could prove to them how good your relationship was. But they're not going to want to explain their new relationship. Okay? So there's no easy way. If you want to go to Brad Browning's, get your ex back, do this, do that, do this. There's no easy way to this. What you want to do is put yourself in a position that if she does come back, and it's a bonus, that you've been going to the gym, you got your work, you're a better catch than where you're at right now. And you can put your time and energy into that. Right? But doing detective work, asking for more answers, contacting your sister again, don't do it. No bueno. Stay away from that. Easier said than done? I agree. But this is your best chance at getting back together. People put a lot into breaking up. Now, this is something that's going to go through your mind. So we might as well discuss it. Right? You're going to think, well, should I just go back to being friends with her? She did say that we could see each other still. Your impulse answer was, no, I can't just be friends with you. Good for you. Now, if you would have been like, yeah, I can do that, then do it. Then do it. But most men or women post-breakup, if they do that, they just make it worse for him later on. But that's a way to stay in the ring and stay with him. But bottom line is, she's just not that serious about a serious relationship. You look at it like she's neglecting you, and she looks at it like, I'm just putting more time and energy into work. You're on two different playing fields. Can that change? Sure. Is it likely anytime soon? No. Book a live coaching session. We'll go through it more. Let me check in on the live stream. Let's see here. No contact, it's hard, but it's worth it. But it's better just to move on completely. No worth going back, sorry to say. Some people actually increase the frequency of contact, which never works. The no contact's less hard when no one understands the psychology behind the theory. About to hit the gym, but looks like a good topic. Thanks, G-Money. But everyone doesn't understand the concept behind that, though. They treat it like that'll bring them when it doesn't. Just close the door and walk away. He said he was getting insecure, so he disclosed that. That could have been worded in a more effective way, though. I agree, but I don't think it was a nail in the coffin kind of thing. That sort of line, if delivered improperly, does not demonstrate strength and could be repel attraction. So looks as she is developing as a woman, starting to work hard, wants a new thing in her life. This breakup is something about her. Drove to her work. That's never good. It may give her stalker vibes. That's a 50 cal round to the chest. That's a way to put it, Jesse. Yeah, it's going down the road of no return. Through these actions, he's given her all the power. Attraction is being repelled lower, lower, lower. The facts are you need to walk away. Keep your dignity down, pride, who you are. Pull the pin and just leave. But as it sounds, it's not your problem anymore. Why so serious? Hello to you too. I openly admit detective work hurts you more than the other person. Just don't do it. Go to the gym to work out. Take your mind off it. Seriously will help you look at the battle picture 360. Chris the Critic says, I agree with the pity part. I'm embarrassed to say that's what I was seeking when it happened to me. Well, sometimes looking at someone else's story or situation sheds a little light on yourself because you're thinking, oh, why are they doing this? You're like, oh, shit, that's me. All right, one more story here. One more. Okay. Hey, Mac, I just broke up with my ex 5 months ago, but we've been hooking up on and off again throughout that time. Our committed relationship lasted about a year ago. Our committed relationship lasted about a year. I was the one that said I'd like to see other people. This sort of crushed her at first. But then as we saw each other basically every weekend, it felt like she kind of accepted it. At no time did she tell me she was seeing other people. I just kind of thought she would. I was seeing only one other girl, but it was a regular, and she agreed we could have an open relationship. All right, so you're together a year, you agree to an open relationship, it's your choice to break up. Then one time when we were out, they saw each other and I stopped and said hi. I've been told the more recent girl that was my ex. That was my ex. All right, so what you're saying is the ex that you're still seeing. So you got to figure out, are you in an open relationship or is this your ex? I don't know. That seems, you're confusing me. The worst part was that my ex hung out at the place loitering the scene with her friend. I felt like we were being watched, and so did the girl I was with. That night I got a bunch of heat from the original ex. I explained, we were in an open relationship. So you're calling her your ex, but you're in an open relationship. She cried, but we saw each other 2 days later. Now, 3 weeks ago, she started openly seeing a guy. I found it out through IG, Instagram. I was pissed. I thought she could have told me. My pops said that's called karma. I'm 21, and this was the first time dealing with some relationship drama. Well, welcome to the party. I just feel like now I kind of want her back and don't know what to do. And the other girl fell off months ago. I'm talking to some other women on IG, but it seems empty, not being able to see my ex. I'm thinking now I took advantage of the situation. She just told me last week via text, did you think I'd be your side piece forever? I wasn't seeing you because I wanted you back. I wasn't seeing you because I wanted you back. I actually was never in love with you. I just like, this is quote unquote, I just liked hooking up and hanging out still. So, I mean, if she writes that, you guys are in your early 20s, that's just to sting you and hurt you. I'm sure there's a point where she really wanted you back. Now when she's with someone else, she got you back. People are vengeful. People want you to feel what they feel. And so when you decided to do this open relationship, she agreed to it, but she was crushed at the point of breakup. And then she witnesses you out with someone else and you don't really care. All the while, vengeance was boiling. And this is her point right now. And now she's got you on the ground and she's just kicking you. And that's why you get a statement. I wasn't seeing you because I wanted you back. I actually was never in love with you. I just liked hooking up and hanging out still. That hurts. I asked then, why did you get pissed off when you saw me with the other girl? She responded that was then. I'm over it now. And I'm with someone else now. And he's just better than you. God, that sounds so immature. But you know what? It feels probably so good for her to do that to you. I texted a couple of days ago when her new boyfriend called me up with her in the car on Bluetooth. He said, I know who you are. Let me introduce myself. He said his name. And he said my ex's name is now with me. And she's now with me. So just stop being a bitch and end the texting, man. I hung up. I was pissed and embarrassed. I know she still has feelings for me, but I'm going to back off. Do you have a plan of attack in situations like these to get an ex back like this? Any other advice? No, I don't have one of these up my sleeve. I actually, this is part of the game of an open relationship, and this is part of the game of you thinking you had everything in your favor. And I often say, a lot of men would like to have their cake and eat it too. But what happens is you don't realize if that woman's willing to take that on, right? And they're like, yeah, all right, you're seeing other people. Yeah, all right. What goes around comes around, right? And so she feels so good being able to tell you this right now, being in that seat. And you know what? Maybe the guy's not better than you. Maybe the guy doesn't last very long with her, and maybe she comes back, but you're not going to talk her in any way. You're not going to talk your way into getting her back. You're not going to be able to tell her she was wrong or you're upset. And that guy basically punked you on the phone. I mean, it's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If you feel like you wanted an open relationship and that you were going to see, you know, multiple women, test that out. All right. I mean, there's no way to slide back into this relationship. If she wants to see you again, she'll call you. I've said this many times before. She's been, you know, younger people, you're in your early 20s. They tend to be more up and down. There's a possibility that she does come back to you, but you're not going to talk her into it. So stay in no contact, move on. Surprise her with your silence. Okay? Surprise her that you've moved on and you're all right. And the other move that would be suggested by a low down, dirty shame type of coach would be, you know, post pictures with a new catch of yours, or have her see you out with someone else. And those kinds of things work in these situations, but they're just short-term, short fixes. And if they don't work, it's kind of embarrassing because you're going pretty low. Bet on yourself. You did in the beginning of this breakup, and there was a reason that you broke up with her. There was something about her that wasn't long-term to you. And now you're realizing, and the way she's treated you post-breakup, even though she got you back, and I can see where she's coming from, right? I don't think this is someone you want to be with long-term, right? So bet on yourself like you did when you opened the relationship up, and start being single again. Possibly read The Rational Male. That might suit you a lot. All right, folks, I got a little bit of time left if there's any questions. We got the usual suspects on. You liked that story, didn't you? Jerry, the Jerry Springer Show. I don't know if it was that bad in that sense, but do you think I'd be your side piece forever? That's quite the line. Just don't sign the terms of open relationship no matter how that ass is. Well, I mean, it's not for everyone, right? The thing about that is whoever presents the open relationship, are they prepared for the idea that it's not just their benefit? That's the part that you don't get, right? It's like you think to yourself, wow, she's so into me that I'll be able to have this relationship and others, and she'll just be okay with it forever and ever. No. Because you're opening up the opportunity for the other person too. He burned himself. Jerry Springer might be an understatement. Ego is hurt. Well, he's 21, right? He's 21. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. It's very common. Very common. It's not one of those things that surprises me, right? Almost a Mexican drama. I like it, Jesse. We can't show that, but I like your statement. And he will. Like, this wasn't a long relationship. This is one of those things. It didn't go as planned, right? It didn't go as planned. You know, you thought you were going to have an open relationship. You're going to have all these little side pieces, as she said, right? And it probably was, you know, even when you were in that moment, you thought to yourself, oh, this is kind of cool that I ran into my ex. And there's two women, they weren't fighting over you, but you have two women hotly interested in you. And she cried afterwards, and she loitered out in front of the place. And you're the catch. You're the movie star here, right? You're Hollywood. But the reality is, it's just a moment. And that person is capable of dusting themselves off and getting you back. Why so serious? Is how likely is it they come from long-term relationship and find another long-term relation, if you know what I mean? You mean in regards to monkey branching? Okay, I'll bite on that question. Good question. Why so serious? And if anyone else has some good questions, go ahead and shoot. There's no more stories to share at this point today. So, just to be specific, if you come from a long-term relationship and find another long-term relationship, if you know what I mean, I would say that there's people out there that their relationship values are for long-term relationships only. They're highly selective, and just look at their body of work. Okay, so, someone that I'd also say if their parents were together for a long time, this usually holds people together longer. So if they've had a 5-year relationship and a 7-year relationship, they're probably more likely to get into another long-term relationship. Okay, so if their previous relationship was good and they don't have any selection issues, which is a big problem with a lot of people, or filter issues. But as I've told people before, a lot of times, and this was a topic yesterday or the day before, actually, why so serious? People that have been in long-term relationships or marriages even, remember those are considered a long-term relationship. And then they finally get out of the marriage that was dead for 2, 3, 4 years, and they get into a new hot and heavy relationship, and they break up in 6 months or a year, and they're shocked and they're upset, and the breakup was worse than the breakup of the marriage, because they think, well, when I'm in a relationship, it's going to be for a while. So, right? So that's the big difference. I would say now with dating apps, the evolution of, the internet and interacting on social media and stuff, that there's going to be more short-term relationships. People attention spans are down. Information on everything and anything are out there. There's a paradox of choice. So overall, relationships aren't going to last as long. That's just my prediction. Okay. But you're more likely probably to be in a long-term relationship if that's what you're seeking and that's what you've been in before. But you can be surprised, because every human being is unique with its own twists and turns. We could say, oh, Mac reminds me of this person. Mac reminds me of this Hollywood actor. But does that mean I'm like that person? That means that there's just something that's similar to that person, right? And the same thing happens in long-term relationships. You think you've identified someone long-term, but you don't really know them till the time goes on. It takes a while to get to know people. It really does. Right, people, time for me to go to bed. Take care, Mac. We'll speak to you next week, buddy. Right on, Jesse. Oh, God, those pics. Please, no. I don't know what the pics are about. Maybe that's a personal thing. Mayretha. Okay, I think that's going to end it for the day. It's going to be a shorter session today. I think I'll be back on tomorrow. If you have a story you want to share, go to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. If you want to book a live coaching session, go to writemac.com. If you want to do some hypnotherapy, get rid of some of your limited beliefs, do some deeper work, that's also available. Otherwise, it is curtains. Take it slow.